Hello and welcome to Business Success Partners Biz Chat. Today we're talking about exit and succession. So that's a bit of a disturbing reality that there are so many business owners that don't have an exit or succession plan, and as a result, they really are missing out on the rewards of in some cases decades of really hard work from working in their business, and rather than actually have a planned sort of strategy to exit, often they're put into a situation where they are exiting at not the ideal time because of maybe ill health or perhaps a downturn in the economy. If you look at the life cycle of a normal business, often without having a strategy in place, a lot of these business owners will end up exiting at completely the wrong time. So let's just have a look at that life cycle. So this is what we call the business life cycle. It's a pretty typical sort of scenario for most small and medium-sized businesses. They'll generally start off fairly slowly, trying to establish themselves, and then the business, if it's doing well, will go through a really good growth period, and then sort of reach a level of maturity where it will flatten off before it actually starts to decline. And it's often a fair way down this decline that a business owner will then decide to sell. Sometimes that decision can be brought on by ill health, or perhaps just the fact that the business isn't performing very well. But whatever the reason, it is obviously not the most ideal time to sell, because you're not going to get as much for the business as you would have done when it was actually performing. So this is one of the key issues that happen with small businesses in New Zealand, that they sell their businesses when their businesses aren't performing. And so to sell a business when it is performing requires a degree of planning. And of course that planning should start really when the business is at a sort of fairly high level. As a business owner may be starting to get a little bit tired of what they're doing, that might be the time to think about planning before you get to that stage where the business starts to decline. So the business should really start planning their exit and succession when the business is performing fairly well. And by doing that, what they'll find will happen if they start this planning process, despite the fact that the business is performing well, it'll actually start performing even better, because they'll start to notice a few things. They'll improve some of the systems and processes. They'll increase leadership, especially if this is done properly. And these things can often help increase the performance of the business. So when it comes time to selling, the business is actually doing really, really well. And so the ideal situation is that the business should sell when it's performing at a very high level. Now, here's the interesting thing about succession planning, is that you will get situations where you may get a business that has come to you and is looking at maybe developing an exit plan. They want to sell the business in maybe 2 or 3 years' time. And through that process, through that planning stage, you often will be, there's often some leadership development around that, and you will get to a stage potentially during that process where the business owner has developed some really good leadership in the business. They've improved the business significantly. The business is doing really, really well. But also because of the leadership development, the business owner maybe isn't putting the type of hours into the business that they were in the past. And I have worked with businesses that are like this, where the business owner has actually cut their hours down to maybe 25 hours a week from maybe 55 hours a week. They're doing significantly better in the business financially. They've created some really good leadership. So then the thinking is, well, actually, we're not so urgent to sell the business now. The business is doing really well. I'm not having to work so hard. But of course, the business has also got more valuable because the business has become less reliant on the owner. And I think that's a really key point. So during this process, depending on the size of the business, leadership or development of leadership can play a really important part. And of course, it can also play an even more important part further down the track, because potentially there could be people that you're developing within your business that are the perfect people to actually buy your business. Some key points around succession planning. Well, obviously there has to be a plan in the first place before the exit of the owner. And that's one of the key things is don't exit without a plan. This can initially involve a stepping back process where the owner may reduce hours, especially if there's been some good leadership that has been developed within the company. This in turn will also increase the value of the business as well. Common successors owners will choose could be family, business partners, shareholders, key employees, or outside interests. So early stages of exit and succession, well, perhaps select expertise to assist with the strategy, people that actually have done this before and can help you develop your plan. Start development of the strategy and plan, improve systems and processes, formalize policies and procedures. Now those last two will improve the value of the business significantly if done correctly. Identify key people in the organization. Select your successor who may come from one of those key people, and at some stage get your business valued. So I guess the key message in all this is if you're a business owner who's over 50, then you need to start planning your exit and succession strategy. You don't want to leave it till chance. You want to make sure that you have a good plan in place, and don't be one of those businesses that don't have any plan in place, because the difference in wealth creation between the two is fairly significant. Give yourself every opportunity to get rewarded properly for the hard yards that you've put in over the years. At Business Success Partners, we deal with businesses who are doing exit and succession strategies all the time. So we see firsthand the benefits from in doing this properly. If you're a business that feels that you need some help, then we have some really great exit and succession strategists in our team, and we have some really great and proven systems that we use. Okay, until next time, this is Phil Wicks and this is Biz Chat. We'll see you later.